Hello, I'm Heather Anderson. This week I used the database America History and Life to look at 3 articles pertaining to the Iroquois Confederacy, which is a league of 5 nations: the Seneca, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, and Mohawk. The Confederacy is built on kinship loyalties and national alliance. It still exists today, however, it reached peak power throughout the 17th and 18th century. The first article is called The Story and Structure of the Iroquois Confederacy by Christopher Bexey. He explores different accounts of the story of the founding of the Confederacy to gain a complete picture. Using dozens of sources, since there is no original or perfect version of the story, his method was to gather every version he could find, including many fragments, in order to determine a cohesive version of the narrative. He breaks the story down into 22 parts and gives the prevailing story, citing several sources in each part. He concludes that the story of the Iroquois Confederacy is also a story about the intervention of the divine in human life. All traditional Iroquois regard the Confederacy as a direct reflection of divine law and the result of divine intervention. The second article is The Rise and Fall of the Iroquois Confederacy, Its Influence on Early American History by Alan S. Mull. As the title suggests, Mull discusses the history of the Iroquois Confederacy and its impact on our founding fathers, our Constitution, and our early history. Because of their skills at oratory, warfare, and diplomacy, as well as the republican nature of their government, the Iroquois have been compared to the Romans. Using mainly secondary sources from books and journals, he attempts to answer the question of how 5 tribes who frequently fought against each other became a powerful confederacy, which evolved into a sophisticated democracy, whose notions of equality and liberty extended to women as well as men. The final article, America's First Nation, by C.K. Ballator, discusses the Iroquois nation's impact on the Founding Fathers. She uses primary sources from Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson, as well as secondary sources to conclude that the Iroquois Confederacy was the only living, breathing democracy that the Founding Fathers came into contact with. It was also initially a Mohawk idea in the 1740s that the colonies unite to acquire strength and power. The notion of personal freedom and liberty also descended from the Iroquois, most notably from the Mohawk, who the colonists had the most contact with. These 3 articles describe the nature and history of the Iroquois Confederacy. They also show how the Iroquois Confederacy influenced our founding fathers, our notion of freedom, and our government. These articles are important because they show that Indigenous history is American history. Thank you.